देश की धड़कन रेडियो FIJI का ये प्रसारण आपके लिए कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है, हम कर रहे हैं। याद रखते हैं अभी से लेकर रात 12 तक यह सिलसिला हमारा और आपका चलता रहेगा। दृष्टिकोण में आपका हम स्वागत कर रहे हैं। दृष्टिकोण के तुरंत बाद आगे बढ़ते हैं कार्यक्रम में। इधर कहते हैं कि गहरी थी रात लेकिन हम सोए नहीं, गहरी थी रात लेकिन हम सोए नहीं, दर्द बहुत था दिल में पर हम रोए नहीं, कोई नहीं हमारा जो पूछे हमसे, जाग रहे हो किसके लिए या किसी के लिए सोए नहीं। याद रखते हैं गीत संगीत का तकाजा आपके लिए रात 12 तक आपको हम सोने नहीं देंगे। महकती रातें हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक रात 7 से लेकर 12 के बीच रेडियो FIJI देश की धड़कन पर रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Akosita Tale. In this bulletin, Ministry of Finance to start consultation on government's 5-year development plan. Fiji to increase agricultural market access with the Pacific. And committee recommends review of processes followed in attempt to rezone Shirley Park in Lautoka. Four out of the 8 suspects who were questioned in relation to the attack on Police Commissioner Major General Ben Hunewald and attempted robbery of a liquor store earlier this week have been charged. Director Criminal Investigations Department ACP Henry Brown confirms the 4 have been charged with multiple counts of aggravated robbery, theft of motor vehicle as well as causing bodily harm. They will appear in the Suva Magistrates Court tomorrow. ACP Brown says the other 4 have been released after questioning. However, they are looking for another suspect who was also involved. The police commissioner was attacked during the attempted robbery at the Still in Flagstaff, Suva on Thursday evening where he was having dinner with other guests. A 5-year development plan for Fiji is likely to be ready in November when the 2016 budget will be announced. Over the coming weeks, the Ministry of Finance will conduct public consultations around the country to help draft this development plan. Christopher Chand reports.
Acting Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Ayya Syed Qayyum has revealed plans to conduct meetings around the country before finalizing the draft plan.
We are going to put in place a development plan. Prior to the first coup in 1987, we used to have a 5-year development plan every 5 years. So the people knew where we were going. Everybody knew, everybody participated in that. We will now be putting in place a 5-year plan and also a 20-year plan going out into the future.
Last year, the government had stated that a development plan for Fiji would be ready by early this year.
We hope to start that very soon. We had, as you know, quite ambitiously said it will be done by March, but obviously it has not been done by March. And we need a lot more input into that. But we definitely would like to have something out by budget.
Syed Qayyum was in Singatoka yesterday where he opened this new complex worth $4 million. New developments like this are creating economic growth.
Because we want to create jobs, but Fiji becomes an economic powerhouse in the South Pacific. And indeed we are.
A 5-year development plan will set a benchmark for areas that need to be improved on. It will also assist 8 partners identify development needs, but more importantly, set a vision for the future. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama will be attending a meeting by the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific in Thailand on Thursday and Friday. He is expected to chair the meeting, which will be held at the United Nations Conference Center in Bangkok. While there, Bainimarama is also expected to meet his Thailand counterpart Prayut Chan-o-cha to discuss the strengthening of bilateral cooperation between the two countries in the area of politics, trade and investment, as well as in other fields. The two leaders will then attend a luncheon hosted by the Thailand government. A Fiji Airways flight to Sydney this morning was delayed by more than 3 hours due to baggage issues. This aircraft was scheduled to leave at 9 a.m. but did not depart until 12:15. Air terminal services were sorting out the baggage before the plane was ready to continue on the flight. Fiji Airways says the aircraft will service the Melbourne flight later this evening and it will also be affected by the 3 hours delay. Last week, an ATS truck damaged their Airbus which had to go to Brisbane for urgent repair works estimated to be in millions of dollars. Some of their flights have been facing disruptions due to the absence of the third Airbus, and issues like the one this morning are causing more frustration for customers. Fiji Airways says they share the same sentiment and understand the current period of disruptions are frustrating for their customers. Fiji is expected to increase its agricultural access to other Pacific Island countries following a successful meeting at the 11th Southwest Pacific Ministers Meeting for Agriculture in Papua New Guinea. Agriculture Minister Inia Seriratu says Fiji now looks forward to more areas for regional cooperation. Farmers in Fiji can now look forward to having agricultural market access with neighboring Pacific Island countries. The recent meeting in PNG gave an opportunity for all agriculture ministers in the Southwest Pacific to sit and discuss regional cooperation.
Well, the theme for the meeting was on climate change, given the changing weather patterns that we are having and the need for us to be resilient. For Fiji particularly, we just gave an update on where we are, and particularly with the country framework program, that is the program coordinated and discussed between Fiji and the FAO.
Seriratu says they are awaiting the completion of Fiji's rural and agriculture statistics and the World Bank poverty report on Fiji.
Because the incidence of poverty is high amongst rural Fijians, and rural Fijians, their livelihood is agriculture. Once we have these statistics and once we have this data through analysis with them, we can be able to strategize better on areas where we can create the maximum impact, of course cost effective, and most importantly, the livelihoods of the people. Fiji has for the past 3 years made significant achievements, and the ministry has acknowledged the Food and Agriculture Organization for its assistance. We've made some training for trainers on rice. Agriculture and rural statistics is currently being done, of course with the assistance of FAO. We've finished on Codex, which is on food safety. The meeting is held biannually to discuss the priorities for development assistance. Each meeting is updated on the development of agriculture, forestry and fisheries in the FAO Pacific member states. The Standing Committee on Natural Resources has recommended that the processes undertaken to approve the rezoning of part of Shirley Park in Lautoka be reviewed. Eleanor Turangeviu has the details.
The petition against the proposed rezoning of Shirley Park from civic to special use tourism was presented to Parliament for consideration on February 12th by Opposition Member of Parliament Nikona Waikula. Signed by approximately 500 residents and concerned citizens of Lautoka, the petition was referred to the Standing Committee on Natural Resources for deliberation and submissions from the public.
And we appreciate the fact that many individuals and organizations took their time to make presentations to the committee.
The committee received 20 oral and 8 written submissions. Of the 28 submissions altogether, 17 were against the rezoning attempt.
The committee, in undertaking this work in a bipartisan way, and the House should take confidence that the 2 recommendations in this report, in this first report, Madam Speaker, were unanimous.
The committee unanimously agreed that the petition be resubmitted and referred back to the relevant authority, the Director Town and Country Planning, for review. It also agreed on the need for more transparency in the process involved through announcements, advertisements and notifications of public notices. 1/3 of Shirley Park had been earmarked for the construction of a 4-star 100-room hotel along with a 400-seater conference facility by P. Maggi and Company. The 64-page report by the committee has been tabled in Parliament to be debated upon at a later date. Eleanor Turangeviu, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, 37 contestants to take part in 2015 Vodafone Hibiscus Festival.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Boulevard. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. Police have not ruled out foul play in the death of a man who was found floating in a river at Wailevu West, Savusavu yesterday afternoon. Police spokesperson Atunaisa Sokomuri says injuries were evident on the man's body after it was discovered by a group of young men. The man has been identified and he is from Natua village, Savusavu. His body is at the Savusavu mortuary awaiting post-mortem to be conducted this week. The Social Democratic Liberal Party has raised concerns that teachers have been complaining about the heavy workload given to them in a year. These have been raised by party leader and opposition leader Rote Mumukepa. Ali Kimbia has more.
SUDELPA leader Rote Mumukepa claims reforms in the education system are adding the workload on teachers.
When we talk with teachers, they are always saying that they have been struggling to cope with the heavy workload. And some of them said that they have to organize Saturday classes every week, and it is compulsory for them to finish the curriculum before the end of the second term.
Changes that were introduced this year include teachers to finish all their school curriculum by the end of every second term, and the final exams have been shifted to the third week of term 3. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the changes are crystal clear and people have the wrong perception of these changes.
So it's not cast in stone. What we are saying is that we want the entire term 3 to be devoted on revision. Revision of the lecture notes, revision of the past year exam papers, revision of problems, etc. So that's what we were saying. So I think they just didn't get the true correct message that we got out.
However, the Fijian Teachers Association President Ngauna Halofaki has confirmed that numerous complaints have been received from teachers about the effects of the changes.
We have to look back through the years, as start from education. It always takes 3 terms of teaching, so that the teachers have a light load of teaching. But with the 2 terms, we have never done before. And we also heard that the examination is in week 3 of term 3. And the fear that we have, what will be the children doing after the exam?
The government has stated that previously the school curriculum has been covered in 2 terms and they will not go after any teacher who does not finish their work, but the onus is on them to do their job. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
More than 600 communities in Fiji are currently facing the impacts of rising sea level caused by climate change. The 2015 Vodafone Hibiscus Festival have pledged to advocate on climate change this year. 12 queens, 13 kings and 12 teen contestants will be part of the 59th Hibiscus Carnival this year. While they will vie for the top crown, an issue at hand and most will advocate on this platform is one that's affecting the country. Climate change, specifically on communities adapting from the ridge to the reef.
This is something we're all familiar with, something we can all ascribe to as islanders, not only in our country, but also in our neighboring countries. The theme selected recognizes the challenge we in Fiji are facing, together with our neighbors and other countries around the world.
The Vodafone Hibiscus Festival will be held at the Suva foreshore from the 14th to the 22nd August. Meanwhile, the Hibiscus Events Group Incorporated has announced that a Miss Fiji pageant will be held later this year.
We have commenced with the work for the Miss Fiji pageant that will be hosted in Nadi in October. We are very proud and excited that we'll evaluate with the support of all municipalities across the country, and we know that we will be able to find the best queen to represent our country.
Reigning queens from various festivals will participate at the Fiji pageant, and the crowned queen will represent Fiji at the Miss Pacific Islands pageant in the Cook Islands in December. Fisheries resources in the Pacific Islands, including Fiji, are becoming depleted, and there's an urgent need to protect them. Korea Maritime Institute President Sung-Wi Kim, who is in the country, says there's a need to focus on fisheries and resource management. Shireen Lata has the details.
A visiting delegation from Korea shared their experience about managing fisheries resources at a symposium in Suva this week. The idea behind the symposium is to enforce a closer collaboration between Korea and Pacific Island countries.
Each government has some kind of responsibilities for managing the fishery resources, and the local communities also have the responsibilities to manage their own coastal resources together. So the first target is the country fishery management authorities, and second is the local coastal communities who are controlling the coastal resources.
The symposium was attended by representatives of the Korean Maritime Institute, PNG, Ministry for Fisheries and Maritime Resources, USP students and other regional partners. Sung-Wi Kim says they are mostly targeting university students to actively participate in resource management.
Our university also have some responsibilities to training the peoples from the South Pacific countries, such as Korea Fishery University just now train the South Pacific officials and staffs and technicians for the aquaculturing and resource management and coastal management.
The Korean government is also planning to assist Fiji in terms of dealing with climate change issues. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Airports Fiji Limited has spent $50,000 to upgrade a kindergarten as part of its corporate social responsibility. The renovations to Nandi Airport Play Center, which is located only a stone's throw away from AFL, was a timely one. The state of the school had been deteriorating, prompting the committee to seek assistance. AFL Executive Chairman Faiz Khan and his team were at the school to celebrate the new beginning earlier this week.
You can see what's around and what was there before. It's an absolute delight, not to see the building per se, but to see the delight on the faces of these children who come to school on a daily basis. We always say that they are the leaders of this country in years to come. We have to look after them, and it's just an absolute delight.
In tonight's Successful Fijian, we feature the story of Manisha Raksha Karan. Karan has not only made her family but the whole nation proud by being awarded gold medals by the Mysore University in India, where she recently completed her Masters in Journalism and Communication. Shireen Lata with the story.
Manisha Karan is Fiji's first Indian Council for Cultural Relations scholar to receive 5 gold medals.
I feel proud to be the first one. However, it would have been difficult if it hadn't been for my experience as a journalist.
Born and bred in Lambasa, Manisha completed her Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Information System from the University of the South Pacific in 2009. Manisha worked as a reporter for the Fiji Times newspaper for 3 years. Encouraged by her dad to further her studies, the third of 4 siblings then left for India under an Indian government scholarship. But life wasn't easy in a country 7,000 miles away from home.
Language. Many people expect they would be talking in Hindi, but it's not. They all speak Kannada, and very, very few people talk in Hindi. So language was a very big barrier. And food was another hindrance. It's like for the whole first semester I was eating masala dosa. I got really tired of it, and till now I can't even have a look at masala dosa because I've had so much of it.
Receiving 5 gold medals came as a surprise for the 28-year-old. However, she says things would have been different had her motivator, her dad, been alive.
It was only 3 months since we lost our dad. So, and Dad was always saying that he would be attending my graduation with me. So to avoid the whole situation or to miss him more, I didn't want to go. But it was like my brother had me on the next flight as soon as the date for graduation was confirmed.
Just have faith in your children, and They will prove you right. Just trust them. I feel great. I'm proud. I knew she would do her best, and she proved it.
Manisha, who is currently looking for a suitable job to build her career, is advising the younger generation to stay focused, work hard, and make the right decisions in life. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC Sports, Suva leads Skipper Cup points table. And Bowling Carnival commences in Nandi.
Isambulu bida na moro mchumena mataka ni kwenye rongo ni viva kama mataka ke misa lopo. Ni ana ni sambulu bida na sero gori sana mchumena kilo na moro mchumai. Tunasile. Ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben. Kelapa. Nama kikira ni viva mataka moni chikira moro mbuka mena ono kene diwa ena buru FM.
Welcome back. The TFL Fijiana team finished as bowl winners at the Amsterdam tournament, the final tournament in the Women's Sevens World Series. After failing to impress on the first day, the Fijiana girls came out strong on the second day with a 15-5 win over host Netherlands in the bowl semi-finals and defeated China 38-12 in the final. New Zealand claimed the overall series title while Canada came in second. Fiji finished the series on 8th position with 32 points. Meanwhile, Canada took out the tournament with a 2017 win over Australia in the Cup final. The Telecom Fiji Warriors rugby team has won their first match on the Europe Tour with a 30-22 victory over Uruguay. The Fijians led 15-3 at the break. The players are trying to impress the national selectors for a spot in the World Cup team. The Warriors' next match is against the Argentina Panthers next Thursday. The Suva rugby side lead the Skipper Cup points table after the first round of competition. The 54-10 win over Tavua was the highest scoreline recorded in round 1. Nandi was the only other team to record a bonus point win with a 32-12 victory over Tailevu. In other matches played yesterday, Namosi beat Lautoka 17-10, Ovalau beat Maduata 28-6, Vatukola defeated Northland 25-8, while in the lone match played on Friday, Naitasiri upset Nandronga 16-13. Team Fiji's preparations for the July Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea are on track, according to Chef de Mission Kathy Wong. With 46 days until the opening ceremony, Wong says all local sporting federations have given the assurance that their teams will do Fiji proud at the regional competition.
Most teams are now fine-tuning and just ticking the boxes to make sure that we're getting the athletes all ready. All the walking wounded have been repaired and fixed and walking behind the scene. But all our sports are now really just gaining towards Pacific Games and just making sure training is sort of on the peak, and then they will start to taper off by the last month before we go into games.
A 320-member Team Fiji squad was announced this week, minus the final Vodafone Fiji Sevens and the national under-23 football sides, which will be named at a later date. The Pacific Games run from July 4th to 18th. Fiji Airways Sunny West Bowling Carnival commenced yesterday with a record 120 participants, 65 being from Australia and New Zealand. With the full Fiji squad to the Pacific Games competing at the event, tough competition is expected over the next 6 days. Defending champions national rep David Aicheson's team, including Mohan Lal, national rep Rajinesh Prasad and Sheraton Bowling Club rep Kushal Kumar, have had a great start winning all 3 games and look set to qualify for the playoff on Monday. Lone overseas team that has not dropped a game to date is Graham Kath and Steve Rice, who are playing with local tourists Rick Air and Lema Matailevu. The Jacks Nandi football side has increased its lead at the top of the Rewa Galaxy Premier League points table with a 3-1 win over Nandronga. In another match played, Ba beat Tailevu Naitasiri 4-0. The Fiji Football Association opened its 5th Centre of Excellence Centre at Rishikul Sanatan College in Asinu yesterday. This will be the first Centre of Excellence to be opened in the Eastern Division. There is 1 centre in Lambasa and 3 in the Western Division. The centre will accommodate and develop players who will be graduating from Fiji FA's development centres. The Lincoln Refrigeration Quarter-Mile Drag Race is building up to be one of the biggest so far. One particular racer will be competing at the event for the first time and has bought in a new vehicle for the event. Being at the race and having the passion for it has made him do this.
I've always had a passion for drag racing, and I look forward to participating in the upcoming Lincoln Refrigeration Drags.
The Quarter-Mile Drag Race will be held in Pacific Harbour next Sunday. Fine weather conditions were experienced over the country today. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over the Solomon Islands and extends eastwards over Rotuma, Wallis and Futuna and Samoa. Another trough affects Vanuatu and New Caledonia. Savu had the lowest temperatures today at 28 degrees. Lambasa had the highest with 32 degrees. Tomorrow, fine apart from brief showers of the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, cool at night. And outlook for Tuesday, fine apart from brief showers of the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, cool at night. And to the main points again, Ministry of Finance to start consultation on government's 5-year development plan, Fiji to increase agricultural market access to the Pacific, and committee recommends review of processes followed in attempt to rezone Shirley Park in Lautoka. And to our poll question this week, we are asking, should nightclub opening hours be reviewed? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensize@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Akusita Tale. Good night.